My name's Aaron. I wanted to share a few words before I pass it over to the leadership team here. Some incredible stuff today. We talk a lot about being the host of a party at Dutch Bros, wanting to have just the right music, make sure the people got the drinks that they want, love on them, serve on them. And I got to tell you, man, the energy in here feels like a party. Don't you guys agree? So Kevin and Chrissy, I just met Kevin about a week ago, and I just met Chrissy today for the first time. But I'm a big fan. They've got candy on the tables, the seats are comfortable, the lighting's perfect, and the music is unbelievable. So, don't you guys agree? Yeah. Mezzolini? You guys still in the house or what? Nice. Yeah, they know how to drop a beat, man. It's pretty cool. I think we'd like to have you guys at the next Dutch Bros party if you guys don't mind showing up to that. That'd be cool. John Torres, right? Yes. Dude, like, your energy is unbelievable. I just want to bottle it up and call it Rebel. It's infectious. You know, he's drinking Rebel. I was wondering how many Rebels you had today. So cool. And Glenn, the emotion talk about leadership and stuff resonates a lot with me. There's a lot that goes into it, and thank you for that. Annalise isn't here. She had to go do some other things, but the generational talk, millennials, I'm not a millennial. I'm not sure what I am, a Gen X, I believe, but we are leaders, and I do lead millennials in a lot of different ways. My daughter's 19, my son's 13. In our organization here in the Willamette Valley, we have about 400 millennials. Pretty crazy. I kind of feel like millennials get a bad rap. Do you guys agree with that? Yeah. The entitlement thing, whatever that looks like. They're always got their hand out, expecting things and stuff. But I got to tell you guys, I spend every single day with a millennial, whether it's with the Dutch family or my family at home. And these guys just want to have a sense of purpose. Right. They want to have a sense of accomplishment. They're not asking for anything but an opportunity to show their best every single day. Yeah. It's pretty cool. I want Dutch Bros to stand for something that goes against that bad rap. These young kids just want an opportunity to step up and make a difference. So these four here today are to share with you guys, and then I'm going to put a wrap on it when they're done. So would you guys give it up for these guys? Thank you.
Hi. Hi. I'm Jason Jones, and I'm a millennial. That was kind of somber, I'm sorry. Super blessed to be here, thank you, seriously, for the invitation. Been working for Dutch Bros Coffee for 6.5 years. Woo! Loved every second of it. One thing you have to know about me is I live for my family. My wife right here, Miranda. We have 2 little ones, Miles and Macy, and we're actually having our 3rd little boy next week on Thursday. I think I'm more nervous than she is. 2 years ago when we had my daughter, we thought she was going into labor. She's like, do I have to drive you to the hospital? Yes, you do, please. Thank you. So I'm going to talk to you guys about a couple of things, but mostly I'm going to tell you about my journey with Dutch Bros and what it's done for me. I started with Dutch Bros Coffee when I was 21 years old, back in 2011. It was late November. I was in an interview with 20 other people. It was pretty wild. I was kind of an introvert, coming out of my comfort zone. Didn't really expect much from the interview itself. My wife was pushing me to get a job, because I'm a millennial. No, but seriously, I was going to school, didn't have a job. I was just like, I didn't have a lot of friends, couldn't look you in the eye when I talked to you, couldn't hold a conversation. It saved my life. I actually showed my father-in-law the little slip, the leadership bootcamp advertisement on last Sunday. And he goes, "You've come so far." He is right. So 6.5 years ago, I embarked on this journey that's changed my life forever. I went to the interview with 20 other people. I was the only one hired. So then this next part of my talk, it's called The Call. It was a super pivotal moment in my life. I was sitting at my computer desk at my parents' house where I lived, and my wife had just got home from work. It was 5 o'clock. I get the call. She walks in. The call was short and sweet. I said yes. I hung up the phone. I get up and look at my wife and I said, I got the job. And she runs to me, hugs me so tight, I could feel her smile on my neck. Right there, right then, with all that emotion and energy that I felt from that moment, it catapulted me to the next level of my life. 100%. So I couldn't be the man that I am today without her, and I love her so much. So thank you. Jesus! So fast forward 6 months, I'm the night guy for 6 months at the Ewald location in South Salem. And I'm just cruising, man. This is a part-time job for me. I just work my butt off. That was one thing my dad taught me growing up, is you got to work hard for what you want. So I'm working hard. I'm going to school. I'm a junior at Oregon State University. So I'm going to school for forestry so I can work in the forest by myself. I have like this weird connection with trees. We'll talk about it later. So, yeah, now I work with people. I don't know. Anyway. So I'm the night guy. My manager, Amy Bodai, walks up to me. She's like, Jason, have you thought about leadership at Dutch Bros? And at first, I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, no, I haven't at all. But I said yes. So I say yes. Fast forward a year, I get my first assistant manager spot at the same location. And during that time, I'm learning, I'm growing, I'm setting goals for myself, I'm finding myself in uncomfortable situations and pushing myself past my boundaries. Fast forward another 6 months, I'm around 2 years now, and Aaron actually calls me in the back of the Ewald location. And he's like, hey dude, what's up, Aaron? You ever think about, you want to go out to Sweet Home and be the manager? I want you to take the drive. I'm like, no, I'll take it. He's like, why don't you talk to your wife? Just like, think about, no, I'll take it, Aaron. So that was like the first step in me being a manager. At that point, I'm like, dude, I think I can do this. I think I can keep going with Dutch Bros. So I set a goal for myself. I'm going to be a regional manager one day. I'm going to own my own shops. That's a stupid goal. Especially at 22. I don't even know who I am yet. So I set this stupid goal for myself. I go out to Sweet Home. If you've ever been out there, it's kind of you're all out by yourself. You know, but it was a great opportunity for me to grow, to work on my leadership skills, to get to know people that I hadn't met before, to be able to pour into my people, to be a servant leader, to lead by example, to be present, to listen to them, to move forward in a positive direction for them. Get them ready for the next stage in their life. See, that's what Dutch Bros is all about. It's a platform job. We want to get people ready for their career, school, travel, relationships, whatever that looks like for them. So I'm out in Sweet Home for 10 months, and I'm like, oh man, I'm getting cabin fever. I'm like, I gotta get back to Salem. And the reason why I want to get back to Salem is because Aaron's the greatest leader that I've known in my life. And I wanted to be in his back pocket as much as possible so I could learn and grow. So I kind of talked to him about it, like, hey, Aaron, you think I can get back to Salem? And kind of planted the seed. It happened. I went back to Salem. I got to be a manager at another location at Owen Street. And it's just right down the road. So I'm a manager at Owen Street. And now I'm kind of going to tie in an analogy, an example, okay? How many of you guys have surfed before in the ocean? More than I thought. I would love to surf one day, and we'll see, maybe. So I'm hitting these little waves, right? These little ankle breaker waves at Sweet Home and at Ewald. I'm gaining my confidence. I'm learning the ropes of how to be a great leader, how to lead people in the right way, be a servant. And then I'm going to Owen Street. It's kind of a beast. I'm not quite sure I'm ready for it, but I'm confident. So I'm paddling out and I'm seeing these bigger waves. a lot bigger. I'm like, dude, I'm gonna go for this. So I'm at Owen Street for a year. And it was a great time. I learned a lot. I grew as a person. I grew as a father, as a husband, as a leader. But I hit a wave. I'm sitting on my board, and I can feel the power of the ocean underneath me. And I hit this wave, and I embark on it. And I'm in the barrel of this wave, and I'm out in front. I'm feeling good. I can see the crest above me. And then all of a sudden, my legs start to get tired. And then my board starts to wobble. And as a result, I lose speed. And as I lose speed, I can see the wave close around me. I know what's going to happen. I'm going to get slammed into the ocean. And I do. I get slammed into the ocean. And I spiral out of control to the bottom. I hit the sand. I can see the surface of the water. And at this point, I lost my spot as a manager. I was demoted from my position, and I take full responsibility for that. I wasn't ready. So I'm looking up at the surface of the water, and I'm watching the sunlight peek through the surface. I gotta swim. So I'm fighting the current, I'm fighting the jet stream, I'm fighting the riptide, the waves. I finally make it to the surface. Then I gotta find my board. But luckily the ocean takes your board to the shore, so I'm good. So I swim to the shore, I get my board, and I have Aaron right next to me. We're looking out over the ocean, past the waves. I have to make a decision right there, what I'm gonna do with my life. I can either walk back to my truck through the hot sand and leave Dutch Bros forever, and that'd be okay. Do something that I went to school for. But I made the decision to go ahead and hit those waves again. So Aaron and I paddle back out, and we hit those waves together. And for an entire year, I'm a barista. I'm working at another location. I'm still a leader, but I have no title. I go back to school, and for that entire year, I'm learning, I'm growing, I'm gaining my confidence back. It was the hardest year of my life. I had no money. I had no time. I was trying to be a great father, a great husband, a great leader without a title, and going to school so I can finish up my degree. A goal that I embarked on a long time ago. So after a year, I graduate from school. The day after I graduate, Aaron calls me. Hey man, let's meet up. Sounds good. So we meet up, and I get offered another management position out in Lebanon. And Dutch Bros is where I want to be, so I accept. Yes, please. When can I start? So now learning from what I did wrong and learning from other people and other leaders and having a mentor like Aaron during that time, it helped propel me. So I went in there, I led my people in a selfless way with a servant heart, not only for them, but for my customers. I kept moving and pushing forward. I kept going after those bigger waves. I was out in Lebanon for a year. I loved every second of it. But after that year, I got another opportunity. Aaron walks in the back door again. Hey Jay, let's talk. Cool. He's like, dude, I want you to be a regional manager. Thank you. That dream, that goal, that stupid goal I had 3 years before, it came true. But you see, guys, that's the glory of Dutch Bros. We have the opportunity, we paddle out with our people into those waves, and those waves mean different things to different people.
Right, that's right.
It's school, it's a relationship. They're goals. You know, we have people from 16 to 25. That's pretty much the age that we have at Dutch Bros. They're in a vulnerable time in their life. They don't know who they are, where they're going. They're going to go to school, get a job, what career they're going to have. They're going to travel. They're going to stay living with their parents. They're going to get an apartment with 4 other people. They have bills, but they have no money. It's vulnerability. We have an opportunity to guide and mentor these people during this time in their life to get them ready for the next step. So as we're surfing with these people, with our people, you know what? They might get crushed from a wave. But for them to take failure in a negative way is not right. How you take failure shapes you as a person. So moving forward, we teach them failure you can learn from. It's another way to get to where you want to be. And I'll tell you what, we up here, if someone gets crashed up by a giant wave, I'm the first one going down. And before they hit the bottom of the ocean, with an outstretched hand, I'm going to pull them to the surface and they're going to get there before I do.
There you go.
And we're going to start over again, and again, and again, and again.
Good work.
And that's what servant leadership's all about.
Yeah.
It's being present, it's listening, it's giving everything for your people, your time, your energy, your love. And that's what Dutch Bros is all about.
Very good.
That's all I have for you guys. But I'm going to hand it over to Derek, and he's going to finish up talking about people development and structure.
I love this guy, man. I'm gonna work next to some really awesome people. What a cool story. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
Cool. This is very unnatural for me to get up and do public speaking, and I'm like halfway through this talk, I'm like, I know I got this comfort blanket, because at any point, if I get nervous and I forget what I'm gonna talk about, I can just be like, Jesus! And my guys will be like, okay, I get back on track. So anyways, I really want to do that at some point. So Jason talked about people development, and that's a huge part of what we do at Dutch Bros. And there's a lot of layers that go into it. We can't talk about that the entire time, but I want to talk about one specific layer of that, and that's personal growth. Jay's experienced a ton of personal growth. Christine, Haley, anyone in our company has, and it's super important that us as leaders, we're always working towards a constant and never-ending improvement, so that we are setting a good example for these young individuals that they can go do these things in their lives. And it's a challenging thing, because if we're going to expect the person next to us that we hire, 16 to 25 years old, to have personal growth, we have to show them that we're having that too. And it can be really challenging, and you have to be really vulnerable. And so I'm going to talk to you guys about a couple tools that we use that help us do this. There's a lot that goes into it. We're crunched on time, but I'm going to talk about some of the things that we use. One of the more valuable things for me is the thing that we call leadership surveys. So what that looks like as a regional manager is all the managers in our franchise, so 10 for at least Salem Kaiser, all the assistants, all the shift leaders get to fill out anonymous surveys on us. And there's about 20 questions, and it's just like X's and O's, how are you doing in your job? 5, I strongly agree, 1, I strongly disagree. And you get to see like real ideas of what people think you're doing as a leader. You get to see your strengths, and you get to see your weaknesses. And that part's all good, but the best part's at the end. There's 2 questions at the end. One's awesome, one's super scary. The first question is, what's the 5 things your leader does best? And you can be a leader and be very self-aware, and you can self-evaluate yourself, and that's important. But what's more important is what the people around you think you're doing. And so by having the people you spend the most time with and you care about tell you, hey man, this is your strength. This is the things that you are good at. It makes you super stoked to continue to work hard in those areas. It builds momentum, it compounds, and you want to work hard in those areas to be even better. So that's the fun part. And you get some really nice compliments, and you can feel really good about yourself. Now the hard part is the last question, and this is real. And it's, what can your leader do better to serve you? And what it's really asking is like, where's their weaknesses? And we can all sit here and be self-aware and know, what's my weakness? I could tell you guys right now my top 5 weaknesses, but do I know that the people around me, like what do they think my weaknesses are? They may not match up. And so having these surveys, you're able to like get a real understanding of like, I know what I need to work on, but I may not know what other people think I need to work on. And if we're going to be a servant leader and we're going to be working towards personal growth at all times, I got to make sure I'm putting my effort in the right areas. So, thanks. So that's something we find super valuable. I've learned a lot from it. I've grown from it. They can be really scary. The part when even you're putting yourself out there, the gloves kind of come off a little bit and people really let you know, but it comes from a good place. And so it inspires this personal growth within us. And then when we're asking the people next to us to do it, they see us leading by example to be there. So that's something we use as managers. The next tool I want to talk about is something we call a designing your future worksheet. And so when we hire a new employee, we obviously do like an orientation for them where we teach them how to make coffee and we teach them how to talk to people and the culture about Dutch Bros. But before we do any of that, we fill out a goal sheet with them. And Jason said it right. We hire like 16 to 25-year-old people. Like, we don't limit the age, but that's who applies. That's who wants to work here. And so the first question on this Designing Your Future worksheet is, what are your future goals and aspirations, whether it's personal or career related? And it's unbelievable how many of the people we hire, like, kind of look at you like, well, I don't know. And that's cool, but like, we're starting their journey with Dutch Bros like that. So it's not about like, hey, this is how you make coffee, this is what we do. It's where do you want to go in your life, and how are we going to get you there? And it creates this personal tie with them to where they want to follow you. They're not following you from a positional standpoint, like, oh, that's my manager, you know, I got to do what he says. They're looking at you as a friend and going like, I believe in this guy, I want to go with him. And that's super important, because if people don't want to grow with you, you're not going to get the full potential out of them. Woo. The second question on that, or the third question, but the more important one is, what are you willing to sacrifice to accomplish those goals? It's something that no one asked me when I was that age, you know what I mean? So if you're trying to accomplish your goals, it takes time, dedication, it takes hard work, it takes the right attitude. Like, what are you sacrificing from your day to get those things done? And a lot of people don't think about that. And some of the answers we get are like nothing. It's like, okay, cool. You know, we're still gonna help you achieve your goals, but you're probably gonna notice that you're not working towards those goals. And so we take that worksheet, we get to know on a personal level, we do goals with them, be a 1-year goal, 2-year goal, 5-year goal, and a 10-year goal. And we kind of stash that away. And then 6 months later, we follow up them with an employee review. And you know, the first part of it, we get to tell them their strengths, and we get to tell them their weaknesses. We get to give them compliments and build their confidence in what they're good at. And then we also get to point out some things for their personal growth. Hey man, this is something that you need to work on that'll help you be better. Now, we can tie that into the Designing Your Future worksheets, because it's one thing to be like, hey man, you can't be late to work. It's like, well, yeah, okay, cool. It's like, well, Dutch Bros, we can't be late. Like, that doesn't really resonate from people. But if Bob wants to be a teacher, and I know that, and that's where he wants to go in his life, that conversation changed, the narrative's different. It's, hey man, you want to be a teacher, right? Like, yeah, for sure. Well, we want you to show up to work on time for Dutch Bros. But think of it like this, if your end goal is to be a teacher, you're gonna have to learn some of these skills now. Do it with us, we'll help you get to where you wanna be, so when you get that opportunity to be a teacher, you've already had this skill set, you've already had these failures. It's okay to fail. We're not gonna fire you for being late 3 times. We gotta wake up at 5 a.m. It sucks sometimes, you know. You can drink a lot of coffee, it's still hard to get up that early. But we don't ridicule them for it. We try and help them grow. There is a line. You have to know when it's time for someone to leave your company. But for the most part, we learn those as coaching moments and times where they can get better. How are we doing on time? Are we getting pretty long?
You're good.
Let's go for it,
Okay,
bro.
cool. So I'll share a little bit about my story because it ties into personal growth. I started Dutch Bros 10 years ago. Never thought it would be something that I'd be super stoked about doing. It seemed like a lot of fun. I wanted to be a teacher and coach. Like coffee, I had no interest. But then I got hired at Dutch Bros and realized it's not about the coffee. It's about this experience at the window. And I completely fell in love with it. Fell in love with the culture, what they do for the community, the people I work with. I just loved it. And from a really early point in the 10 year I started working at Dutch Bros, I set a goal for myself to be a stand manager. I set myself a goal to be a stand manager because I decided that's where I want to go in my life. I want to own and operate a Dutch Bros someday. Well, you have to be a manager to do that. That's one of the qualifications. And so that was my main focus. I was also going to Western Oregon University, studying business, and had 2 things going on. And I saw this massive growth in my life where for 2 years at working at Dutch Bros, I was focused on the right things. I was self-aware. I could evaluate my strengths and weaknesses. I was moving in the right direction towards something that I was super focused and really wanted to accomplish. And I saw my life just change. I became a better person. I learned to treat people right. I learned to talk to strangers. I could not do that. I'm public speaking right now. 5 years ago, that's the craziest thing to me in the world to do this. Yeah.
Jesus!
Oh, man. So anyway, so it's challenged me all these right ways, right? But that was 2 years. And then at some point, I took my foot off the gas. I had turned into this really good employee. I was a full-time student. I was working at Dutch Bros. I wanted to be a manager, and I took my foot off the gas. And that growth went like this. And that's fine, because I encourage everyone, 16 to 25, enjoy your life, live in the moment, go have those fun times, but not for too long. Because for me, it was 2 years too long. Because for 2 years, I went like this, and like 3 months, I went like this, and then it's like, this. And if you're talking from a leadership's perspective, I want to be a manager. So how am I going to go like this and then like expect that? I don't know, but no one pulled me aside and told me, hey man, you're not going the right direction. So that's why I take so much pride in these designing your future worksheets, setting goals, following up with people, because if someone pulled me aside at that time, they saw me take my foot off the gas, they probably would have had a conversation with me. No one did. And so you fast forward 4 years into Dutch Bros, I'm not the same employee I was at 2 years, and opportunity came. There was time for me to stand manager. And, you know, quite frankly, I didn't deserve it, and I didn't get it. I thought I was gonna get it. I looked around and said, I've worked here longer than all these people. I love this job. This is what I wanna do. This is my dream. I get to live this out. No one deserves this more than me. I wasn't thinking about the right things. I wasn't prepared. The guy next to me got it, and it was like getting punched in the face. I quit Dutch Bros 3 months later. Found myself college dropout. I quit school so I could focus on Dutch Bros. Quit Dutch Bros, and I was like, what happened, man? Like, what's different? And I didn't know at that time, but I can look back then. I was like, well, I know I need to go back to school. Like, that's one thing I can do. And then like a month later, a job opened up in Salem. Christy was one of the people that actually like got me involved with Salem Dutch Bros. And I started fresh as a closer. Started thinking about the right things, got focused on my personal growth, and things just fell in line. I met my wife, she walked in late, Chloe. Things in my life just changed. I wouldn't have ever been able to maintain a healthy relationship before then. I was focused on the wrong things. And so what I'm saying is I can look back in my life and see that the periods of growth I had, good things happened. And the periods where I was just comfortable, bad things didn't really happen, but no good things happened either, and I wasn't progressing anything. And when I got back on the right track and graduated college, a management opportunity came. And you know, since then I've been able to become a regional manager, and I've just known that like, there are times I stop and enjoy the moment, but like, I gotta get back on that track going forward, otherwise I'm gonna start going downhill. So that's all I got for you guys. Haley is up next. She's gonna talk. Haley's gonna talk about customer service and his role in our company. She's worked for Salem Kaiser Dutch Bros for 12 years.
Wow.
So there's no one here that like could have a better person to describe this to you. So I'm super stoked.
That's so sweet. He's so sweet. I'm super impressed with both Derek and Jason so far. This is not easy. They did that by memory. I'm gonna have to pull out some paper because I got a lot to say. But honestly, before we start, and customer service is a really big part of what this business is all about. I'm not gonna say anything that's gonna blow your mind. Honestly, Dutch Bros highlights the details. We really are fine-tuned on the little things that make they turn into big things. But I need to say, these people up here on stage, they definitely hold us accountable. We hold each other accountable, but we also are in charge of 400 people. We get to work alongside 400 people, and dude, I couldn't be more blessed. I'm a better person because of them, and hopefully you take something away from today. So, but to get on to customer service, we need to remember first and foremost that Dutch Bros is a very resilient brand, but is a brand that is created by the people that work for Dutch Bros, and the people are the reason that we can say we had a great experience at Dutch Bros. We are the experience, so the baristas create what Dutch Bros is all about. So we actually have a table of them sitting right here, so a round of applause for them. Dude, I am not good at this public speaking. I'm so nervous right now. So the first thing to focus on is definitely the interactions, right? So we need to make sure that each interaction with our customers is super sincere and super genuine, because anybody can have a robotic conversation, but focusing on what you're saying and who you're saying it to makes all of the difference. We also need to make sure that when they come to the window, the first thing you do is greet them. The only thing that you cannot get back in life is time. The only thing that you cannot get more of is time, so make it worthwhile.
Yes.
It's not that hard to think about if you put it on paper, but it's really hard to put it into action sometimes, because you get wrapped up in yourself and what's going on in your own life, or what's going on at the bar when you're making a mocha. But you have to remember that they are coming to see you, and specifically you, and this is the one time that they do it, you know, in the hour or in the day, so make it worthwhile every single time.
Yeah.
And we also need to make sure that the conversations that we have are appropriate for the time that you're reading the situation. So when they come to the window, don't immediately like give them a high five and jump through the window, get in their car, right? Kind of like what you saw out there. But sometimes people come through and it's heavy and they're upset and they're coming to you for comfort. And we've gained their respect. They know that we are going to be there for them 100%. And that's just being a servant leader within the stand as a barista. That's being a leader without a title. And that's something that we're going to empower everybody that we work alongside, because not one person is better than the other. We're all just there. We're in battle together, shoulder to shoulder, all right? A couple of cool things that we get to learn from people that have experienced Dutch Bros before I have, even it's 12 years, makes me feel real old. But I get to work for Aaron Eastman, and I'm super blessed. But we also get to learn from people like Dane Boersma, who passed but was able to leave a couple of tidbits of advice. We call them the wise man's old school building blocks, and they really highlight what customer service looks like. And they're all really important, but one of them that sticks out is that your customer needs to be priority. They are number one every single time. They are the most important person in the stand at any given point. So they're flesh and blood, right? They're human just like us. They experience everything that we do. They're not a cold statistic. I just got much louder. You guys hear me better now? They're not a cold statistic, and that we need to really remember that they're experiencing life as you are speaking to them and with them. You're listening to their story, and it's unwrapping right in front of your eyes. And then another thing is we are here to host a party. Aaron said that right when he first came on stage, but it kind of depends on the barista to decide what kind of party it is, right? So is it a birthday party? Is it a tea party for little ladies coming in? Like we have to make sure that each interaction is specific to the person that we're talking to. You have to be a chameleon at the window. You really have to be genuine and engaged, and kind of unwrap anything that you feel like unwrapping at the time, as long as it's specific to the event that you're talking about. And then another thing is just to make sure that you're committed. So great customer service is like an intentional commitment. You need to wake up every morning and say, okay, I'm in it, and this is what I'm going to do, and then you need to remind yourself while you're there. In orientation, the first thing that we talk about is when you come to work, everything that you carry with you stays at the door. Because as soon as you walk into this stand, your time no longer belongs to you. It belongs to the customer. You're at a part-time job with full-time energy. You got to host a party for 5 hours, and then you can get to go deal with life. But for 5 hours, that party belongs to your customer. That party belongs to them. All right? And then one of the final things that I want to talk about is just to make sure that we show gratitude. We're a yes company. We like to say yes. We want people to get what they want because it makes them feel good, but we're also full of gratitude. We're a thank you company. We are honored when you call upon us every time you come in. And if that's one time at 5 o'clock in the morning, then heck yeah. If that's 3 times a day to get a large 911 and you have no idea how they're breathing the next morning when they come in, that's rad too. But you are calling on us, and we want to say thank you because we are blessed that you choose to spend your time with us. Love is our product. Coffee is how we serve that product. Our baristas are awesome people, and I'm a better person because I get to work with a multitude of different people. And trust me, I have my flaws and I mess up, but I have people standing alongside me to rally me and to keep me going, because without it, I would be a completely different person. And Jason is right. How you deal with conflict, how you deal with confrontation builds your character. It reveals who you are, and it makes you a better person. And guys, this is customer service. This is nothing deep. This is surface right here. We are so honored to be able to work in a community like this that supports a company like Dutch Bros. So to be a leader in our community, it not only takes dedication, but it takes dedication of the mind and a dedication of the heart. And there's so much more to what Dutch Bros is all about. But I've talked far longer than I thought I would, so that's rad. That's good for me. I'm gonna introduce Chrissy Madden, somebody that I really look up to, somebody who has a warm heart. She plays Mama Bear to everybody in the company, and truly, we are all better people when she walks into the room.
Hi guys. Like Haley, I'm going to have some notes. Boys are better at memorization. I get to talk about my favorite part about Dutch Bros. But first I want to thank you guys for letting us be here. This space is amazing. I'd never even seen it. I mean, I'd walked by it, but like Kevin said, I was like looking around the corners today, like, this is a church, where do I go? And I walk in and I was like, this is really nice. Okay, tablecloths and candy everywhere, it's like my kind of thing. So thank you for letting us be here. But Kevin asked us to be here to define culture and to talk about what we do and how we define culture as a company. And as these three that spoke before me, who I look up to every day, they talked about personal growth, how we apply that to helping our employees grow, and then how we interact with our customers. And then the fourth part, which is my favorite part, is how we interact with our community. And that community can be our customers, or that community can be somebody who's never seen us before, never met us before. And that's my favorite part about our company. I think it's the heartbeat of what we do. Culture can be defined as many things, but to me, culture is a result. So it's a result of hard work, it's a result of effort, it's a result of attitude, and it's basically what you do as a group of people to reach the same goal. This room right now has a culture to it. We've all been here together all day. We've all gotten closer. Glenn, you became part of our culture by donating a check for Drink One for Day and Day. That's something that you wouldn't have done had we not brought that opportunity in and gotten to know you.
Yep.
So thank you again for that.
Thank you.
But that's what we get blessed to do. We're basically given that opportunity by our owners. And what Dutch Bros does, and I know a lot of people see it, but what we take pride in is the fact that we get to go out into these communities and establish relationships. We get to be parts of events like Drink One for Day and Day, where our proceeds not only are given to ALS, but our owner says, go buy balloons, go buy pizza, here's shirts to wear. We're excited about it. It's not just something that we're required to do, it's that we're blessed to get to have these opportunities. And really the main thing about these events that we go out and do is that our customers are passionate about these things. Passion is the strongest emotion that you can have as a human. It's something that nobody's gonna take away from you. You define it your own way. Passion is something that usually, and sometimes you don't get paid for. Maybe you spend your extra money on it. You lose sleep over it. It's what gets you up in the morning. And all of these events that Dutch Bros gets to be part of, big or small, is because somebody in our community that we love and the community we serve, they're passionate about that one thing. Yeah. So whether that's, a graduation ceremony or a 5K run, a puppy adoption, we like those ones. But just little events like that, whether they're large or small, they come to us as a company, they want us there because they're passionate about it. That is so humbling for us. We're like, we're not that cool. Like, we just show up and make coffee. But like Haley said, it's more than the coffee. It's about the relationships that we create. Amen. And we, just being in this room right now, creating more relationships. I learned something from each and every one of you guys. And if what you take from us is around culture, we just want you to know that the culture is a result. It's a result of the relationships. It's a result of the hard work. And being out in the community is a big part of that. We have a special events team. They're here today serving you guys coffee all day. Thank you. And that special events team gets asked to be at crazy things like people's weddings. I mean, believe it or not. Concerts, graduations. We've done things with Shangri-La and Boys and Girls Club and family building blocks. And before this company, I didn't even know about a lot of these places. And our owner generously lets us go out into the community and find these organizations that can be blessed by us and by the things we do. Without the customer, we don't have those opportunities. Without this community of Salem that we live in, we don't have jobs, right? But it's more than that. It's that we get to fill people's passions. We get to help make them feel like their event is the most important thing. And it's the most humbling experience I've ever had. Before I worked at Dutch Bros, I had 2 jobs. I worked at the hospital as an orthopedic tech, and then I also worked at night in a restaurant. And my parents were a little iffy. They were concerned when I quit my job at the hospital, right, to go make coffee. But fast forward, now I get to be alongside some of the best leaders I've ever met in the position that I'm in. And personal growth and growth within our employees, how we treat our customers, and how we develop ourselves into our community, and how we make their events come to fruition is so much more than coffee. It's everything to us, and we just want to make sure that we bring those opportunities into our shops so that our employees can also get those opportunities. So we do things, we do events that are all different. We planted trees one week, and we clean up the street one week, or we do things that our employees will identify with, because they all have different goals. Maybe they want to be a teacher, maybe they want to be in forestry. All of us had a different career in mind before we actually became regional managers at Dutch Bros. So it's important to us as regionals and to our owner and our events team that we create these opportunities for our customers and for our employees that aren't just about coffee. And that was like the Drink One for Dane Day. One example that I want to give you guys is every September we do a Buck for Kids Day, and $1 from every drink is donated to a children's organization in Salem. And this last year we chose CASA. And if any of you guys don't know what CASA is, it's a court-appointed special advocates. And they basically work for children that are in foster care, living in foster care. So the CASA works for the child, not for the judge or DHS or the foster parent. They're basically advocates who go in and take care of children in the Salem-Keizer area. And it was probably the most influential event that we've got to be a part of. They let us come into their organization. They not only explained what they did, but really just made us vulnerable. They broke us open and helped us realize how big of a need there is in Salem for things that we don't think about every day. We're pretty blessed. We get to, wake up, drive our cars to a job, that's great, wake up in a warm home, go home and eat food. Some people don't have that. And really, it took us away from the coffee and the music and the noise and the friends, and they really did just, break us open and let us experience a little bit more. And this company does that. We do that on a small scale and a large scale, and it's just such a blessing to be able to bring all of our employees in and all of our customers in and really let them see that Dutch Bros is so much more than that. So if I had to, define culture, like I said, I would say that it's a result. It's a result of hard work and effort, and that can be in your families, in your jobs, in church, in anything you want it to be.
Very good.
And there's a quote that I'll leave you with, and it's a Gandhi quote, one of my favorite guys. But to truly find yourself, you must completely lose yourself in the service of others. And I truly believe that with my whole heart. Giving up, Haley said it before, but time is the most precious form of currency on the planet. You can't go out and buy it, you can't trade it, you can't get it back. You don't know how much, when you're born, you don't know how much you're given. It's like a secret bank account. You never know what's gonna run out. So how you choose to spend that currency is really up to you. And at Dutch Bros, we choose to spend it in a way that's going to, exude positivity into our community, into our customers, and to each other. So thank you guys so much for letting us be here. We're gonna bring Aaron and his wife Tawny back up here to close it for us. Thank you so much. You want to stand by me?
Wow. So proud of you guys.
We did it!
It's unbelievable. I don't know when the student decides to become the teacher or the teacher decides that they need to learn again, but I've learned a lot today. And you guys absolutely have taught me a lot, so thank you. Yeah, we're just stoked to be here. Honestly, it's been such a great day. Is Kevin gonna come up? Is there a Q&A? Are you guys having all the speakers come up for a Q&A?
Yeah, all the speakers.
All the speakers? Okay. Yeah, we just want to say thank you. We're humbled every day, and really, with our culture, the opportunity to serve others without an expectation of getting anything in return is the best feeling we could ever have. And so we continue to focus on that every day. Good. And I think it's something. I think we're in good hands moving forward in the future of our country. Don't you guys think so? With young people like this and their attitudes and their effort that they put out every day. So I just want to say thank you, you guys. It's been a lot of fun. Kevin, do you want to come up?
Sure.
Thank you, Kevin. You're a cool dude. Yeah. So.
You're a cool dude. You're a cool dude. Hey, I wanted to say a couple things about Dutch.